What is the one book? The one book that will stick with you forever. 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 The one book that always will stick with me forever. That pretty much traumatized the hell out of me. And irked the shit out of me. The Darkest Child. That book will forever and always go down as the greatest upset of all time for me. I get to the end of the book. I turned the book over like, I know. Because I physically read that book. And I was like, I know damn well this ain't the end of the book. I go look up the author because I'm like, it got to be a sequel to this damn book. Ain't no sequel. Sequel. Somebody told me that somebody else wrote a part 2, but I don't even want to read it. Like, that whole book had me... older people that write books, to me, like, when you, like, in your 60s and 70s and you're an author, you're traumatizing. They traumatize the fuck out of me. Because I have no words. I can't even explain the fucking turmoil and the fucking pain I felt read about it. And don't get me wrong, a lot of times it kind of brought back a lot of triggering and bad memories. Because I grew up in the South, dark skinned, and I could relate. That book was very traumatizing for me. It was a good ass storyline. It was a 5-star read. It was just very triggering and very emotional. And it was a lot of black trauma. It was a lot of bad. Like, it was nothing triumph about that book except for the one sister that was dead. And it goes to show how people treated children that was born with some kind of disability because they was uneducated. Like, it was one sister, the darkest child. Let's go to the darkest child. The darkest child, she was very dark, but she was very exceptional. She's very exceptional. She's very smart. She pretty much intelligent, and they kind of picked her to go to the school with the white kids. They pretty much was born, their mother was a vindictive, terrible person who slept around town. She was very light-skinned, very fair-skinned, and she was a fucking evil whore. And she mistreated her kids, and she pimped out her kids, and she was just an evil woman. And she had this one child who was mute. She was she was deaf. And she could, but she could sign. And she used that child to pretty much take care of all the illegitimate kids she had. Because she had, like, I think she had 8 kids, all by different men. They all look alike. And she had traumatized all her kids in some kind of way. It's like she was just having kids. She had, having kids pretty much to take care of her and satisfy her needs. She used and abused her children. And she had no remorse. She was a racist, and she was mixed, but she was a fucking racist. She slept with alt-right men who was in the KKK, and she gave her daughters to them. She pretty much made her daughters go to the whorehouse to feed her need of having money. She let her kids live in poverty-stricken environments, and she could have done better for them, but she didn't want to. She didn't care. She was just an evil person, and she traumatized, and everything she touched turned to shit. That book just traumatized the fuck out of me, through and through. So, if anybody got a book, that would stay with them for the rest of their life, like, I literally had bad dreams about this book. So anybody have that one book that would stay with you for the rest of your life? The person that recommended that book to me, I had pretty much called her and told her, she was an older person. She had me about 20, 25 years. I called her and told her, I said, I would never in my life ever forgive you for recommending that book to me. Okay? I just knew it was gonna be a happy ending. It wasn't a bad ending, it just was no ending. Like, the book had no ending. It wasn't a book with no ending. And it was written so perfectly. Like, it was, to me, it felt like an old person was telling their story. The book seemed so true. Everything about the book was believable, and it just seemed so true. If y'all got a book that will stay with you for the rest of your life, let me know. Put it in the comments. Because The Darkest Child, this book right here, traumatized the fuck out of me. I don't know whether to give it, like, it was a good read, but I don't know how to rate it. I don't know how to rate it because it wasn't a bad read. It was a page turner. Like, once you start reading, you could not put it down. But you're like, what the fuck? Like, I'm still traumatized. There are some books that I would reread, but that book I would never reread again. And it was not a bad read. It was a good read. It is a book that will stay with you for the rest of your life. That book will stay with me for the rest of my life. The amount of evil the mother was, she was just, she did some unspeakable, unthinkable things to her children. Like, and I'm not even talking about I'm not even talking about like touching or assault. I'm just mean and evil for no reason. She ruined her children. She ruined them. If y'all want a book that's a page turner that would just stop you in your tracks, The Darkest Child. The Darkest Child is a phenomenal read. But it's traumatizing. And it's, I don't know what category to put it in. But it will stay with me forever. All right, y'all. Let me get on out of here and get to church. I'm almost finished. I'm on my way to church. Okay. I'm going to physically go to church today, because last Sunday I did church online, so I'm going to go to church. All right. Happy reading. Side note, I'm editing this book, editing this TikTok, and I realized I didn't state why it was no sequel to the book, but the reason was she went on to glory. The author of this book had went on to glory, so it was not a sequel. But at the time, I did not know that, because I usually do not read books where the author has passed and it may have been a sequel. So because even if somebody else continue it won't hit right.